Welcome everybody to the Scott County Lady Cardinals News Graphic Coaches Show with Coach Steve Helton. I am Kal Oakes. Our special guest this week is Lexi Hoffman, and we're filming this less than 24 hours after the deep sigh of relief of the win over Sayre School to get into the 11th region tournament.
I was glad to hear that horn go off and see the scoreboard and know that, hey, we get to play in the next week.
It's a nice feeling. It's a game that's kind of as expected, a little tentative early. I mean, you figure the nerves were going to kick in a little bit, but once you guys got in a rhythm and played at your pace, and I think it was a pace even faster than I've seen out of you guys. It was off the charts.
We were, there's different ways to press, and there's ways to wear teams down. There's ways to just token press to slow them down somewhat. But last night was designed for chaos. Mm-hmm. We gambled. We were out of position intentionally sometimes because, in the right situation, we were going to give up some layups. And we made some really good plays from the press and got Sayre uncomfortable, and that was the whole plan. We wanted them to be uncomfortable because, we've talked all year long. We don't play well in a half-court game.
No.
We don't want to play in a half-court game, and our best game is in transition. And if we would have allowed that score to be the way Sayre wanted it, it'd have been 10-8.
Yeah.
And we just can't play that way. So I thought the kids did a great job of getting the ball up and down the court, attacking defensively. We really attacked. And again, we were out of position, sometimes so out of position we made plays. Mm-hmm. So I hope we don't start doing that often. But it was a great win into the region.
Their attempts to get you into that half-court game kind of lured you into foul trouble, which probably also was part of their strategy. But it seemed like that kind of played into your hands a little bit because you had fresh people coming in off the bench and you were able to continue to ramp up that pace and that intensity. And this girl sitting next to you was part of that.
Incredible. Lexi came off and gave us an incredible spark. And, Lexi's that player. She's an athlete. She can play all five positions. She's the fastest player on this team. She does stuff in practice. She does stuff in games. And I just look at her and say, wow. She is that wow type player. She can elevate, and we joke, and and in a way, I'm being serious about it. When she dunks, we're done. When the moment that she dunks in practice, we're done. She's just an incredible athlete, getting better every game. Her experience last night came in. She sparked us defensively. She had that middle drive right down the gut of the defense. Kind of got everybody else going because we were stagnant. We were just not. We were settling for the outside shot. And Lexi came in and gave us a huge boost. And 15 kids played last night. Mm-hmm. 15 kids did something positive.
Lexi, did you have a sense last night before the game and it was going to be your night and you were going to get a chance to kind of shine there in that one?
I just knew that if my number was called that I was going to go in there and do everything that I could for our team to win.
It's kind of a role that a lot of people in this team have embraced because there's some nights that you may not get on the floor, and there's other nights where, like last night, the situation dictates that you're gonna play a lot. Going into the playoffs, having that kind of depth seems like it would be a big advantage for your team.
Yes, definitely.
Is that talk a little bit about the pace because I know you girls like to play at that pace, but last night it just seemed to me watching it was just different. It was just even more accelerated than normal. Did it feel that way to you?
Yes, it did. The game started out really slow, but then once we started scoring and stuff, it just got a lot faster, and we were just running with them.
You talked last night about Peyton Riddle's game, 30 points, but it was a mix. She was driving to the basket, drawing fouls, drawing contact, doing good things that way. And then when she would step back and hit a three, and I think at that point Sayre was like, what do we do?
and that's the key. A lot of the stuff we do, we want to get to the rim. We want to be aggressive to go to the rim. But again, when the time and situation is there, you got to be able to shoot the outside shot. And they were going to be in zone, and you can beat zones a couple different ways. Don't let them score so they get set up. So you can outrun it, you can transition to zone, or you can, as offensive players like and offensive coaches like, you can shoot them out of it. And so last night was one of those opportunities where I thought Peyton did a good job letting the game come to her. She really was strong with the ball. And we were just out of rhythm that first four minutes. I don't know if we had 6 points, 8 points, and I'm pulling my hair out because I'm like, well, we had 30 here at home.
You didn't score until the 4:13 mark of the first.
Oh, yeah, you make me feel no better.
That was,
you're not making me feel no better.
I mean, I could not remember. I mean, I've seen 20 out of the 30 games or whatever it's been now, 27, and I don't think you've gone that long without a basket.
Well, it adjusted the daggone rims for the game because I was complaining about that to start with because the first time we played over there, we shot the lights out.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, yeah.
last night, first half, we couldn't throw it in the ocean. And we were on the beach trying to throw it in the ocean. And, I mean, that was the first shot that Malia took. Yeah. I mean, it was all the way in and came back out. And then from there,
after that, it was Brick City for a while. But how much of that is nerves, Lexi, in a game like that? I mean, I was nervous before the game. I'm sure Coach was. He said he was nervous. I mean, does that factor into it?
It does a little bit, but then once the game gets flowing, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah. Did you sense that from your team? I mean, you like it as a coach. I imagine you like everybody being kind of loose, but not too confident, right? I mean, going into situations.
You know, it's a happy medium. I mean, you try to not let them see that you're nervous. And again, you know, like we talked about, you know, we've coached 500 games here. We've coached a state championship. And you can't help but get a little bit nervous every time you play because you just don't know. I mean, it's a game of who knows what's going to happen next. And, you know, I felt we were loose. The bus ride over felt good. I mean, I was ready to play. I had my music on, and we talked about some of the music I was listening to and thought maybe they might want to hear some of my music, but they didn't.
What is your music?
Well, last night we had a little Def Leppard going.
All right.
Then we had a little AC/DC.
Yes, sir.
And then we went to Johnny Cash right before we pulled in.
See?
So
eclectic.
we had a mixture, but
You couldn't get them listening to Johnny Cash?
I was talking about Def Leppard, pour some sugar on me, and they just kind of stood
Def Leppard? Def what?
looked at me. But they were, you know, I felt good during warm-ups. They were moving around, no matter what level you're at, you got to get that first one out of the way, especially if you know this first game means regional tournament berth.
Right.
So, you know, not to say that our championship game is going to be any less important, but it does let that pressure know that, hey, let's just go play.
I mean, we've all talked, Lexi, about last year not getting past that game. Does that kind of stay in your mind too? Does it kind of haunt you a little bit and make that game a little tougher to get through?
Yes. It was just a game that we knew we needed to win because we did not want our season to end.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that's nice to have that off your back, but as you said, you're going into a championship game now that it's the last game of the year that's not a one and done. I mean, regardless, win or lose, you're going to 11th region. But everybody wants to win the 42nd district. There's no accepting being the runner-up, I would imagine.
Scott County on the uniform, you're playing for a gold trophy. You're playing for first place. No questions asked. We're playing for first place.
At this point in time, we don't know who you're going to play. That's going to be decided on Wednesday night. But do you have confidence going in, Lexi, knowing that you've beaten those teams during the season? What is the approach?
I think we're pretty confident. We've played them before, and if we just sit down, play defense, communicate, we will win.
If it is Bryan Station, it would be on their home court. I mean, I know the boys had a little difficulty with that factor last night. You kind of prepare for that in the back of your mind?
You know, regardless who it is, we know that both teams are really well versed in how they take the ball to the rim. Both teams go to the rim hard. There are a lot of similarities in those two teams. No matter who we face, it's that third game, and I don't care at what level you're at, whether you're at rookie or bound here in Scott County Youth. When you play a team 3 times, you need to be playing better than you were the other two in order to have a chance to win. And we've had great practice. Our kids have been preparing well. Today we're going to practice going about Scott County. Tomorrow we'll know our opponent. We'll put a little bit more on our opponent, but we're going to prepare for Scott County today.
Now that you're in the 11th region, I asked Coach Hicks this for the boys show this week. Do you do a little bit of scoreboard watching as far as the 41st, 43rd, and 44th district? Do you kind of think ahead to next Monday or Tuesday who you might see and beyond?
You know, I think you always have to at least prepare. You know, we won't talk about it to the girls, but we will prepare as coaches to see who's next, to see what films we need to get lined up. And because with the girls, it's such a quick turnaround. You know, we'll draw Saturday morning. Somebody can play Monday at 6:30. So you have 48, 72 hours there to put a game plan in place and get ready to play. And if you've not seen a team, which we've not seen, you know, many of the teams that are left, well, we've not seen a few of them. I don't say many. We've not seen a few of the teams. You have a Lafayette, you have a Western Hills or a Woodford. You have some of those teams that you've not seen. So you've got to scramble to find stuff to prepare for them, and because we'll come in, we'll have a draw at 10 o'clock that morning, 11 o'clock that morning on Saturday. We'll practice at some point that day on Saturday, and it's an exciting time, it's a stressful time, but as long as they're having fun, I'll act like I'm having fun, and I won't act so stressed, and you never know, they may be listening to my music before this season's over.
You might win them over. I don't know about that. We'll see. Lexi, 11th region tournament. Did you go freshman year, or have you been to that?
I went freshman year, but I rotated in and out with somebody else.
So it's a different level of excitement for you, knowing
Yes.
you might get to play a pretty
Yes.
significant role. Is it a comfort level for you knowing you got some of these players that are getting older in terms of experience and have been in these games a little bit? And
It does pay off, it really does, and it goes back to the schedule we've played. I mean, we have played who's who of the top teams in the state. We've played the top teams in the nation, and we played 26 practice games. That's all it was. It was 26, counting the Hoop Fest, 2 preseason games. We've played 28 practice games. Our first real game was last night against Sayre. And, I felt like after the first, I guess you said 4 minutes that we scored finally, we felt better.
well, you did score 86 points in the last 28 minutes, so that's pretty good.
Man, I didn't realize it was 4 minutes though. That I could have really.
13.
Wow. Well, I could feel my.
Fortunately, you held them to 4 points in that amount of time. They didn't go too crazy.
Well, it was. It's good to get that game out of the way. It's all about preparation. Our team's ready. Lexi, anybody we call our numbers, they're ready to play, and I feel confident in our kids. It's not a situation where we're trying to. Well, I don't know. We have the confidence in our kids, and I think our kids have a lot of confidence in themselves right now. It's just going out and performing. We're going to watch film today and tweak some more things. It's postseason time. We tweak some stuff. We won't change our whole program. We won't change everything we do, but we're going to tweak because. Apparently, there's a lot of Scott County film out there that everybody's sharing, and it's
because you guys are so beloved.
It's amazing.
In the state
It's
of Kentucky.
amazing how many films. How many people are getting our calls before we call them. But it is what it is.
They're ready. Their opponents are ready. We think we're ready. We hope you're ready. 6 p.m. Friday night at Bryan Station, the 42nd District Championship, and then it's on to Eastern Kentucky University next Monday or Tuesday. We'll find out, as Coach said, on Saturday what the matchups will be. Until then, I'm Cal. See you on the sidelines.